Hey guys, Savage Joy here with Real Progressives. Let me add my name because as you guys know, it never comes up when I do shows by myself. Um, so yes, unfortunately I am by myself because let me see. Because Mr. Peter Douche is having severe uh computer problems. He's really bummed out. He wanted to join, and unfortunately he's on the phone with T-Mobile right now because they suck. And he texted me photos of his internet speed, and it's like 0.1% or something like that. So unfortunately, Mr. Douche, will probably come on next week instead. But we still have a lot of news to discuss. So um, this week is yet again another complete clusterfuck in election news and what have you. Um, Damn right, Bernie 2020. There's no other option to me. So first I wanted to I find myself kind of focusing a lot on Biden. I can't help it, but he's nuts. And there's just so much to discuss with him. Um Sniff the computer. That could be why. That could be why. Joe the Sniffer is all over Douche's electronics. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, well, no, I mean, for me, there is no other option for me. It's Bernie. It is absolutely Bernie. It's up to 22 people now. Um, Nobody can hold a candle to him. I mean, 40 years of what he's doing, nobody can even come close. So no, that's my choice. Period. So I've been kind of focusing on Biden a lot just because there's so much material and he's so disturbing. Um so one thing I was looking up today, because I don't know if you guys saw the footage. Um, right on, right on. I saw the footage today, and it was about Dick Cheney and Biden giving him props. So I wanted to do kind of a little research into see what other warmonger Republicans Biden has complimented. Besides Hillary Clinton. So there's a video that came out today where Biden said, I actually like Dick Cheney for real. I think he's a decent man. Then I found one in November, this past November, like 6 months ago, while presenting George W. Bush with the Liberty Medal. He said, I always respected him during his administration. Biden said, Pence is a decent guy. In this past October, before the 2018 midterms, he earned $200,000 for a Michigan endorsement speech of a Republican. So all of these things were in the past few months. So I mean, when you bring up stuff about, him supporting segregation and things like that, it's like, it's always, oh, that's in the past. That's in the past. Well, unfortunately, he makes statements that, I've never apologized for anything I've ever done. I've never regretted anything I've ever voted for. He makes those harsh statements, those absolute statements, where he says, I've never apologized for anything. And that's a very dangerous thing. He's a very dangerous person. But also, don't tell me it was in the past and people can change. You can't change if you can't acknowledge you did something jacked up and you don't apologize and recognize that thing. How are you going to change? Besides, if you're racist, you're always racist. I'm sorry. I mean, no, you just don't grow out of being racist. Yeah, I really don't know what people see in Biden either. The only thing I can possibly think of is the Obama nostalgia. That's all I can think of. We all see those posts, where it's like, this picture of Obama with Michelle and Barack, and they're like hugging, and it's like, oh, can't we go back to these times, because they think it was like, so great, but really they were just unaware of, the civil, the travesties that were going, on around the world. And I think that that's part of it. I think people really want to go back to that time before they were forced to be awakened. I don't know what else it could be, because I try to see something redeeming in all candidates, like even if it's something very little, just because I don't want my journalism to be like so one candidate focused that I lose objectivity. But like with Biden, I absolutely cannot think of a single, even semi-redeeming thing. I can't. I have researched for hours. I've racked my brain. I can't find anything. I mean, he's unintentionally funny sometimes. I guess I can give him that. One of the things that that disturbs me about him, one of the first things I saw months ago, that when he was floating around that he was going to run, was somebody posted a stream of all the videos of him saying, "I'm a proud Zionist." And I mean, if you just go to YouTube and you type in Biden Zionist, I mean, you will just see dozens of photos or videos rather, of him saying over and over, "I'm a proud Zionist." I'm not sure if he knows what that means, but I wouldn't be bragging about it. Also, we hear 24/7, Bernie's not even a Democrat. Well, I just gave you 4 examples of, him praising warmongering Republicans. So it's this like exclusive club and we're not invited. But that's okay, because I'm a very proud independent. I will do what I have to. Unfortunately, I'm in Pennsylvania and we are a closed state. I do have to enter to vote. And then the next day I will exit right back. Biden, let's get back to Biden. That's a great point. Biden did say that he wanted to get back to the way things were before Trump. That's what I fear. That is absolutely what I fear 100%, is not just Bernie being cheated again, and not just Bernie not winning, but what really terrifies me is that we went through all this shit. We got Trump. We've had that fucker for 3 years. We'll have him for 4. If we go through all that shit and then we go back to a neo-lib Republican with a D next to their name, we went through all this shit for nothing. We just went right back to where we were. That's terrifying. Because right now, if this shit doesn't cause a revolution, we're not having one. We're all now awoken to things like Medicare for All and Green New Deal and federal job guarantee. And, the environment has 11 years left, things like this. We all know these things now, all of us. Of course, some people are in denial, or some people have a lot of cognitive dissonance, but we know about these things. There's no excuse to go back. If a progressive, and if a progressive does not win this election, they won't. I fear they never will. Let's say Bernie was elected, it's not going back. After him, it's going to keep being progressives. If someone like Biden or Kamala gets in, fuck it. We just wasted 4 years. A lot of people were in pain. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. None of it was worth it then. All of it was, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's very scary to me. Like, I can't even fathom. Well, first of all, I wish that there was some way that we could. I mean, this is kind of fascist, I admit, but I wish there was kind of some way where we could, like, hold voters accountable to, like, research. If we could just, like, sit them down in a room and be like, look, you have to read this shit before you vote for these people. But it's so much easier to just read, magazine titles and, headlines and word of mouth, and just, hey, all good. I'm just going to take this as gospel and I'm good to go. So it's definitely, it's scary to me. Last time in 2016 for the convention, like thousands of my brothers and sisters, I went to the convention in Philly, and we marched 8 miles a day, and we chanted until we lost our voices. It was over 100 degrees. I broke the soles on my shoes the very first day, and had to go get $2 flip-flops from CVS, and my feet were just like jacked up. We marched and we marched and we screamed and we chanted, and it was the most proud moment of my life, was those 6 days, because I never thought I could do something like that ever. I literally lost 14 pounds in 6 days, because that's how much marching we were doing and how much we were sweating and stuff like that. Like, it was insane. And I never thought I could do something like that, nor did I ever want to do something like that before, because I didn't understand the magnitude. But I am fully prepared to go to Wisconsin this time for the convention. I've already decided I will be going regardless of the outcome, regardless. And that being said, I'm going to be going regardless, because they're still pulling super delegate shit. They're still having meetings about Bernie, like how to stop Bernie, which Pete Buttigieg has been involved in, things like that. I'm still going to protest this convention. The outcome is important, but it's not, make or break me going. I'm going. And, I hope that, others join me, because this, depending who they nominate, not who we elect, but who they nominate, this, I fear for, at this point, I said to my husband, I'm kind of glad we don't have kids. Not, of course I love my friends' kids like to pieces. And no disrespect to anyone who has them, but it's like it's so daunting because I just think about, I'm like, oh my God, like if Trump A gets reelected or B some neolib gets elected, what do we have to look forward to? Like our country is in shambles. I absolutely, I think there's a few people who Trump would win against, but I think the absolute number one, like I would bet everything I own, period, on the fact that Trump would win against Biden. I have absolutely no doubt. No doubt. Oh, you live in PA too? Awesome. I'm in Harrisburg area. Aw, thank you. So yeah, I think it's, I think if they pull this shit for Biden, Trump wins. And I know when I say stuff like that, people were like, well, Trump's going to be impeached. Yeah, you've been saying that shit for 3 years. Okay. So whether it's Trump or Pence, whatever. But the other thing is, I'm worried about Trump being impeached just simply because if it's Pence, it's worrisome because a lot of the Republicans will see it as, well, Trump has his faults, but now we have someone new with Pence. So let's give him a chance. And I think he actually has more of a chance of staying in power if it's Pence. Of course, all this is, projection and a lot of us waver daily on what we think, the possibilities are. But I think, and I think Bernie had a really good point. I made a post, right? A guy in Florida threatened Bernie. Like today. Do you mean today that happened? Sorry guys, I'm just like, somebody heard Bernie. What? Yeah, the Dem shit all over Bernie all the time. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now my heart sunk in my stomach. Okay. Apparently somebody threatened Bernie today, and wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, so that's terrifying. So that's actually something I worry about a lot with Bernie, because he, even though he's like, someone who like wants to actually help people, even though he actually wants to help people, and give them health care and help them with jobs and raise their wages, okay, let's hate him. I don't understand how you could hate someone who wants to help humanity. I don't get it. I think that it's part of it is just absolute pure privilege. So George Takei, who, a lot of us used to like, maybe some still do. In 2016, he started proving himself to be 100% shill. He was like full on like pantsuit nation. And I ditched him because it was making me sick the way he was like putting down Bernie and just praising Queen Hillary. And, so I ditched him. Now, what he did the other day I believe it was 2 days ago, is he made a post on Twitter. And you guys may have seen this. And it said, I don't, sorry guys, I got distracted. I vow to not make any negative comments about candidates this, through the primaries or some stupid shit like that. Will any of you make this pledge as well? We're like, fuck no. No, that's what a primary is. You provide information, you tell other people, this is why I won't vote for them. And that is the most freaking elitist bullshit, because you're saying that your life is not going to change, like, regardless of who's elected. So why would you care if someone, who fights for healthcare for all is elected? You buy your own healthcare. You don't give a shit. Why would you care if, someone who's destroying the environment is elected? You don't care. You're privileged. So, I mean, I was just so disgusted by that pledge, especially when, like a day prior, he was calling people idiots who support Bernie. But anyway, so then the way people like who make that pledge, the way they get around it is like, Bernie's not even a Democrat. Listen, asshole. Nice try. He actually is. So I keep this thing handy, which shows it's a copy of the actual contract that Bernie had to sign to run. As a Democrat, you literally have to sign a contract that you re-registered as a Democrat. They back it up. They verify it. So this whole he's not a Democrat. Yeah, he is, motherfuckers. And don't act like he's not a Democrat and then come begging for our votes, come next November. Because, I mean, I'm going back to being a proud independent, and you either want our votes or you don't. So, but anyway, I digress. So then, so you have, no, that's what I was going to get to. You have George Takei doing that. Then Alyssa Milano shares it. Now, Alyssa Milano is nuts because she is, as many of you guys know, she is one of the faces of Me Too. A lot of women, looked up to her, thought of her, and I guess some still do, but a lot of women, thought of her as a role model because she was, Me Too, and she was kind of the first like celebrity to kind of publicize it and get people talking about it. I mean, unfortunately, she's like a huge Hillary supporter who's married to a rapist, but, beside the point. So anyway, so she comes out, and when Biden was getting accused last month of making women uncomfortable and stuff, she came out and posted a photo of her and Biden all snuggled close. And she said, I've never had any problems with Biden when I've been next to him. Now, as someone part of the Me Too movement, that is like one of the things you don't say is, well, he didn't do it to me, so they must be lying. Like, that is so jacked up. So that was just messed up. Then she starts this podcast. It's called Sorry Not Sorry. And who's the first guest? It's fucking Joe Biden. That was a couple nights ago. I can't listen to it. I just can't. I'm waiting for reviews because I'll just flip. So she has him on, and when she announced that she was going to have him on, that's when everyone went batshit crazy. And when we were all like, oh my God, you're starting a podcast called, Sorry Not Sorry, and you're having Joe Biden on, who, makes people uncomfortable. So we all were just like flooding the comments like, oh my God, is this shit for real? So then the next day is when she shared that post. I agreed not to say anything about any other candidates. And day before, she, totally disrespected Bernie supporters, but okay. The humorous thing that we were pointing out was the like declaration they were sharing that said, I agreed to not say anything about any other candidates. It didn't say Democratic candidates, it just says candidates. So now every time she says something about Trump, we just screenshot. And we're like, wait, you said you wouldn't say, you vowed not to say anything about other candidates. She is, she was on the news today. I saw a clip, talking about she doesn't understand the backlash with Biden. That just shows how privileged you are. If you don't understand why people don't like the fact that he is a complete and utter warmonger, that he supports segregation, that he doesn't want Medicare for all, that he takes big money from big pharma and oil companies and all this bullshit, that's a problem. If you don't understand why people don't want that, that's a really big problem. Also, so I was reading something today. I forget the guy's name, and it was some reporter, and he made a post that said that I went to Joe Biden's event today, and when I tried to ask him a question after he was leaving, one of his associates stood in between, like physically blocked me from asking Joe a question. And I asked it, and he acted like he didn't hear, because there's just someone literally blocking him. So, he made that post, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's some Hillary shit, because I remember Hillary went 11 months without any press conferences when she was running. Okay, that's acceptable. But so anyway, so then more and more reporters started adding to the threads. Oh yeah, I saw him yesterday and someone physically blocked me. And I mean, there were literally 5 by the time I got off of Twitter to start this show. There were 5 reporters who said that they have been like physically blockaded from asking him questions, which is, I mean, that's pretty Trumpian. I mean, Trump hates the media. Oh, he's such a Nazi because he won't talk to the media. Same for Biden or not? Because that's kind of jacked up. Like, this is people, the 5 people said it was the past 2 days. Like, it was different events, not just one time. And if you follow my Twitter, check out, I posted a video earlier today it's a compilation. It's like a minute and a half of Joe Biden's speech from today. It's like just a snippet. And he was like he was getting his Merzwixed. And he was like slurring, and he was like it was so weird. I can't even explain it. It's like he either was having a seizure or he took pain meds. But it was like, he was like, I can't explain it, but you guys just have to see the video. It was so weird. I hope he gets checked out, whatever it is, because it was just not, I don't know, it was weird. I mean, even people who hate him are like, dude, I want him to see a doctor. Like, it's bad. And that's not even saying it as someone who doesn't like him. Yeah, not taking questions at this time. He also, one of the things he said today, actually, I correct myself. It could have been today or last night. I saw it today. He stated that he has a great healthcare plan, but he hasn't had time to work on it. So, dude was rumored about running since 2016, and you haven't had time to work on this epic healthcare plan? Do you not have a staff? Can you not just like help them? Do you not like fly on planes? Do you not, you can't work on this shit. You can't even, you know, say it into a tape recorder and have them type it out. Like, no, I'm sorry. Screw that. You don't have time. You are like, you're campaigning. Tell people what healthcare you supposedly want to give. I mean, it's just so insane to me. And, okay, so we got Buttigieg. Dude still doesn't have policies on his page, and he actually is okay with it. He he's, let me see. Exactly. He had more than enough time. And even if you have the gist of what you want to do, you have teams. I mean, come on, it's just bullshit. And somebody made a meme where they took that, where he said, I just haven't had time to like write it down. Somebody made a meme of him next to him, Trump saying, I have a really good plan to defeat ISIS. I just don't have time to write it out now. I'm like, that's who he's sounding more and more like. Like he's doing all the things that people give Trump shit for. So anyway, Buttigieg, he is, to me, my biggest threat to our movement, I think, is Biden. I think if he gets in, like, we are fucked. We are going to war with 10 more countries. We're continuing all the other wars. Jobs will be, will be lost. It'll just be one thing after another. Buttigieg is actually my second biggest fear because he is a warmongering weirdo. He is asked continuously what his policies are, and he literally says, we focus too much on policies. People don't want to get bogged down with the minutia. That's what he says, word for word. Too much on policies, you're running for president. And people support this dude. It's incredible. There are so many things that terrify me about him. His absolute love for all things army, military. The fact that he contributed hugely to gentrification in his city. The fact that, he makes fun of people who try to give underprivileged kids free lunches. I could go on and on. That guy is just disgusting. And I want to love a gay president. Like, I want to. Yes, I want a gay president. Please. But not him. I want a woman president, but not Kamala. Like, we can't do identity politics again. That's what got us in this place. In 2016, when I was campaigning for Bernie, I cannot tell you how many times I heard, I really want Bernie, but I want a woman, so I'm going to vote for Hillary. I heard that so many times. And it's like, that's what this is. It's like, why do you support Kamala? Because I want a woman, and especially a woman of color. Okay, well, what's interesting though? I wouldn't even consider Buttigieg centrist. I honestly feel he is a Republican through and through. The guy on the Morning Joe show, he's a Republican, right? And you're right, Taffy. Yeah, you know what, Cindy? I can't believe I forgot that. Buttigieg applauded Israel and disrespected Palestine. And he actually gave props to Israel by the way they handled the situation with Palestinians. I absolutely was just, I couldn't even believe it. I was so appalled. You're praising a people who are literally torturing people who are unarmed, and you're praising them. Yeah, it's oh, and Buttigieg met with Hillary today. So, and Buttigieg was a Hillary delegate. So don't forget that. Now, people were kind of freaking out about Buttigieg meeting with Hillary, but the fact of the matter is, Kamala met with Hillary, Cory Booker met with Hillary, Beto met with Obama. Guess who else met with Hillary? Elizabeth Warren. That's who. So that's another reason why I don't trust her. But yeah, so Buttigieg met with Hillary today, and so since she met with all these people, I honestly think she has a top 2 deal with all of them. If you win, I want to be your VP, and if you win, I want to be your VP. Seriously, I swear she's trying to insert herself into anyone's campaign. She just wants the spotlight. So I wouldn't be surprised, and so help me if oh my god, that woman, she's just trying to get she's all over the news again today. I can't stomach her. I'm so thankful for my viewers who send me synopses of things, because I absolutely can't. Bill and Chelsea announced today they'll be doing a podcast. I just can't with these people. They went on a book tour. It went on Groupon. It was selling for a fraction of the price next to Hootie and the Blowjob, or Blow tickets. And yeah, they're still kissing her ring. It's incredible. I mean, it would be pretty awesome. I've never seen, I didn't realize that someone who's so disgusting could be so loved until 2016. I still can't even fathom it. Maybe I need to be more Shillery and then my views will go up. Just kidding. I don't have it in me. So I troll her all the time, and I troll Hillary, Pelosi, and I was hoping nobody caught that. I said it once as a joke, and now it just slipped out again. Yeah, Hootie and the Blowjob. I was talking about Bill, so now I lost track of what I was saying. But yes, you are so right. Bernie has more money than the DCCC and the DNC combined. Also, on Saturday, we had the house parties for Bernie's kickoff. We had 4,700 house parties, and those spanned over 34 countries. So how insane is that? 34 countries joined our house parties. It's so insane. It's because people have the things he's fighting for. And I had a gentleman on from the UK couple, I guess it was last month, and he was explaining to me how he and his friends all love Bernie so much, and they don't understand why we don't have the things already that Bernie's proposing. They don't understand it. They can't comprehend. So the fact that, 34 countries have our back, but I mean, it's just so amazing. In 2016, we had phone bankers from all over. We had Australia for Bernie, Japan for Bernie, UK for Bernie. I mean, and it's like it's even more this time. It's just beautiful. I mean, that man planted the seed for just something that I mean, it just he planted the seed, and then we all took that and just ran with it. And the amount of change politics has seen. Bernie was talking about $15 hour wage in 2015. People laughed at him all the time. It was ponies, it was pie in the sky. Now 6 different states have adopted it, including Amazon and Disney World and ones like that. Things like that. So it's like, okay, so Addie, I don't know if you guys saw his testimony yesterday in the Medicare for All hearing. I've followed him for probably, I want to say 3 years. He opened for Bernie. He was a speaker. At that point, he was sick, but it was at the beginning of his diagnosis and everything, so he could still walk and he could still speak. And just something about him, I just fell so in love, and he's just such a hero and so amazing. And when I heard that he was the one testifying at Medicare for All, I was just so, nah, hey, that's badass. That's what's up. Hey, Dr. Stephen Hall, that's what's up. Hell, I'm legally blind and I'm trying to read. True story. But yeah, so Addie did his his speech electronically. He has a laptop that speaks for him. And it was, I mean, there was, if someone could watch that and not ugly cry, I would be impressed, because oh my God, it was so beautiful and so touching and just incredible. And as myself, as someone with medical needs, who's been in and out of surgeries and who's legally blind, I can just sense like the pain he's going through, and he has a son, he has a little baby, and I can't fathom. But instead of just hanging out, like, he is still doing his damnedest to be a hero. And if you haven't seen it, just go to ADYBARKIN. I just bawled my eyes out. It was so beautiful. So anyway, so I can't remember the last time I was this mad. After the hearing, Nancy Pelosi went up to Addie and put her arm around him and smiled. And I've never wanted to like punch a wall like the way I did when I saw that yesterday. I was so appalled. This woman has fought tooth and nail against anyone proposing Medicare for All. Things have leaked from people who work for her, saying there's backroom meetings about, don't worry, we'll never pass Medicare for All. Don't even worry about it. And she had the audacity to put her arm around him. This is a man who is literally dying. Literally. Can't walk, can't speak. And it costs him over $9,000 a month just for care. And she has the nerve to put her arm around him and smile for a photo op. I was just enraged. I felt myself starting to shake. I was so appalled. That woman, just like some of her clan, has no feelings, has no care in her body, has no humanity. I kind of like to think that Addie was probably like, get the fuck off me. But I won't be presumptuous. I would like to think. But I made a post about his struggle and his fight and the video, and I said, this gentleman who is dying and going through all of this supports Bernie. That should tell people something. There is no other person who people with severe medical needs trust to get this passed than Bernie. This man has fought for it for decades. He has presented legislation for it. People like Elizabeth Warren, they walk it back. Pete Buttigieg straight out says, I don't want it. So people have to be very conscientious of who they listen to. A lot of people are going to come out and say they support things that, if you check their records, don't line up. Always look for receipts. Medicare for All is one of the most important things, period. If you take big money, I won't vote for you. If you don't sternly support Medicare for All, I won't vote for you. That leaves two people, Bernie and Tulsi. That's it. I mean, like, we have to prioritize those two things to me. I mean, and I mean, Tulsi doesn't support the federal job guarantee, and she's wavering on the Green New Deal. That leaves me with Bernie. Plus, Bernie has Stephanie Kelton, so that's kind of, incredible. But yeah, I mean, we have to prioritize, and not just that. We have to look for receipts. I'm seeing so many things like, Kamala will post something and there's all these yes queens in the comments. And then 2 seconds later, you're like, that's not true. In 2016, blah, blah, blah. And, but people don't want to research. They want that hero. They want someone to just say, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And they want to believe it so desperately that they just buy it. They click and share. When in actuality, I love me some Bernie. He's my choice, but I have major complaints with him because he's human. I don't want to think anyone's perfect. I tell my guests who are candidates all the time, you will never, ever, ever find the perfect candidate unless you run yourself. And I have a feeling I'd piss myself off if I ran myself as well. But I think that's the point of desperation people are in. They just see something and they're like, oh, that sounds good. I'm going to share it. And I don't know how you guys feel. Put in the comments. I don't know how I feel about like the whole people change thing. Like I said about Joe, if they don't acknowledge they've done something wrong and they don't apologize for it, they're obviously not going to change. But I feel like, look at recent things as well. Like Buttigieg, he's mayor, okay? But that's the biggest office he's ever held. So mayor for 8 years. He ran for treasurer and lost. And he's been mayor for 8 years. Not senator, not congressman, mayor. Okay? So do we want to elect someone for president of the United States when they've only been a mayor? How about Beto? He lost. And when he was in office, he voted Republican 33% of the time. How about Yang? Never worked a day in politics in his life. A businessman. Didn't we complain about that with Trump? I thought we did. Marianne Williamson also never worked a day in politics in her life. These should be no-brainers. These should be, you are not capable of, of holding this job. You're not knowledgeable enough. Work your way up. Pete's younger than I am. You can work your way up, run for senator. If you win, then work your way up. I ain't gonna vote for you, but still. Speaking of which, if any of you know anyone in South Bend, Indiana, or thereabouts, I interviewed the woman running for Pete Buttigieg's mayoral seat last week. Oh my God. Love her. Love her, love her, love her. Regina. She was a Bernie delegate in 2016. She is a woman of color, a school teacher, and she broke down how Pete Buttigieg has contributed to the gentrification of her town. She broke it down. She's a teacher. She sees all these kids in the horrible, conditions their homes are in. Pete actually did something called 1,000 Homes in 1,000 Days. And what he did was he actually bulldozed 1,000 homes because people couldn't pay. They wound up homeless. Some of them were being squatted in. Those people were then left to the elements. Why did he do it? He got money. This is documented. And he was asked about it, and his response was, they said, "What did you learn about that?" And he said, "Communication." I mean, what the fuck does that mean? Communication about what a friggin' asshole you are? Like, communication about what? The fact that you're destroying people's lives? I'm hoping that enough people just start realizing, like, how pathetic some of these nominees are. Oh, before I forget, okay, so Kirsten Gillibrand, who's just like a total nutcase, she's at 1% in the polls. My husband still gets the nation, even though I flip out about it because they started going total freaking neo-lib centrist bullshit a few months ago. Because Katrina's leaving, so I'm done with them. I'm in these times in Jacobin, 100%. But I digress. So on the Nation, Gillibrand on the cover, and in the article, it literally says, Gillibrand is polling at 1%. You put the person who's polling at 1% on your freaking cover? That's how ridiculous this shit is getting. So Gillibrand comes out last night and she says, I'm introducing new legislation in which it will give people $600 each if they vote. And then they can give that $600 to the candidate they vote for. And I'm thinking, okay, well, we already buy elections, so that's not different. But I think the way she's setting it up is actually not legal, because you're literally buying people's votes. And then I thought, well, I wonder if she gave me $600 and I said I'd vote for her, and then I voted for Bernie, and then I gave Bernie the $600. I wonder if they can track that. So I'm starting to think of all these situations, and I'm like, that is just the weirdest freaking shit ever. I'm not really sure what, and then she came out, her other bill she came out with last month was she wants to put a cap on how many controlled substances like opioids or painkillers, anything like that, people can be prescribed in a certain amount of time, even if they are in chronic pain. She said, regardless of the diagnosis or, if it's a debilitating disease, or it does not matter. There will be limits on how many doctors can prescribe, which she's not a doctor. So I think that's really jacked up. And So anyway, they asked Joe Biden how he felt about it, and he goes, people can deal with a little bit of pain. And the comments were just like, have you ever had fibromyalgia? Have you ever had, it was incredible just looking through the comments, like people just like in chronic pain, like, I can't believe you would do this to us. We don't abuse it. This isn't, I mean, let's be real. The real reason why we have an opioid epidemic, a lot of it is due to the fact that pot isn't legalized. I mean, this is just bullshit. And also, Bernie has been, fighting for cannabis legalization for decades. And he also wants to expunge all the records of people who have been in jail for it, everything like that. Last week, actually, I believe it was Monday, Joe Biden came out and said he does not believe in legalization of marijuana. He thinks it is a gateway drug, which I haven't heard since DARE. He's like cueing Nancy Reagan. And he said that he feels it's a dangerous thing to consider legalizing it. I'm not sure what is dangerous about people, being less depressed and less in pain. And I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even do it, but I support it 100%. I interviewed a veteran with severe PTSD who told me I would not be alive if it wasn't for cannabis. I interviewed Rusty. He's a young man who had testicular cancer. He said I wouldn't be alive unless I used cannabis. Like, these are beautiful people who would be dead without this natural substance. And there's people in the pocket of big pharma, or big pharma's in their pocket, you know what I mean? And that's why they don't want this shit legalized. Until we get money out of politics, so much of this shit isn't going to change. And that's one of the biggest reasons we need Bernie, in my opinion, because it seems like everything goes back to money and politics, like everything. I mean, Joe doesn't even, Biden doesn't even, make a comment about, money in politics, except that he takes it. His first event was sponsored by an anti-union group. Their goal is to literally break up unions. And the day after he had them, he put out a post that was like, I stand strong with unions, blah, 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 because he was getting such backlash. And there were like over 30,000 likes on it. It's just so gross. I'm like, can you research? A day ago, this dude had a union busting, group host his event. Yes, he's getting a lot of money from Comcast. That's who the DNC convention was sponsored by when we were there. He is Hillary. Hillary lost. He's going to lose as well. The one thing that I do want to say, though, is that I don't want to get cocky, because every day is like, oh, that asshole said something stupid again. Oh my God, he's never going to win. Oh my God, his poll numbers are dropping. And I'm not just talking about the ones where they they kept out everyone under 50. I don't know if you guys saw that. But they did a poll. I forget who it was. I think it was 538. They did a poll and it showed Biden like 20 points ahead of Bernie. And that's because they kept out everyone 50 and under. They completely negated them from the poll. It just says NA, 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 NA. But people don't look at the actual breakdown. Whenever I see a poll, I just immediately go right to the bottom and see if they say how many people were polled, Were they just regular people, or were they part of the Democrat establishment? Typically, it will say. So Biden's numbers on the ones, the polls that we the people do, are not really falling, and he still has a lot of support. Why? I don't know. Trump still has support. Hillary still has support. I don't understand it, but they do. So I definitely think we shouldn't be too cocky and just kind of be presumptuous that he's done for, because ideally he should have never entered to begin with. Obama stated he will not endorse him, which is freaking hilarious. I more and more is showing me that I believe Pete Buttigieg is the current pick for the DNC. I think, the private meetings of how do we stop Bernie, things like that. I think it's Pete right now. Who do you guys think is going to drop first? We start the debates next month. There's supposed to be 12. Who knows? There was supposed to be 6 last time, and Hillary only did 3 and then had a temper tantrum because she was winning. So she didn't do the other 3. Scheduled 12. Now there's 22 people running. And so that would put 11 on each stage. It'll be a Saturday and a Sunday. And typically what they do is they have so let's say it's 11 and 11. They'll put the top 11 polled, the with the highest poll numbers together, and the bottom 11 together. Now, I really, really think that just to see a shit show, they're going to do something where it's like, they'll put like Tulsi and Bernie and Warren and Gravel together, because they're going to be like, Tulsi, you endorsed Bernie and now you're running against him. And Warren, you endorsed Hillary, and instead of Bernie, who now you're trying to be a doppelganger of. And they just want to see drama. So I think that's a possibility. I can't wait to see Bernie hold it down, because he's being more outspoken this time. So I'm glad about that. Regardless of what he says, he's going to be sexist and racist. So you should just let it all out. Wag your finger, baby. Wag it. It's all good. So, yeah, that's my guess as well, you guys. Gillibrand. I thought for sure she'd be one of the first to drop. I forgot she was even still in. I don't know what she's doing. This is the longest year and a half of our lives, essentially. We are in for it. It already feels like it's been like 3 years. Well, it kind of has, in a way. So, thank you guys for watching. Sorry about Douche. He will be back with me next week, Mr. Douche. So he changed his name from Peter Douche to Douche, because Peter Douche kind of likes Bernie now, and it's really freaking bizarre, and I don't get it. But I don't forgive Dow, because he was like a cause of a lot of our pain, and he definitely cost us votes. So I don't forgive him, but his posts for the past 2 months have been really amazing. And he's been holding his ground. Like the shills are just ripping him a new asshole, just 24/7. And yes, Lady Bunny. I spoke with Lady Bunny. She's going to, we're going to do a podcast one of these days. I freaking love Lady Bunny. Oh, she's fierce. I love her. Yeah, she's a big burner. Yeah, that, oh my God, she's so epic. But yes, so I mean, Mr. Douche is now just douche. So he still does the parody and everything. It's just you gotta get a new character. I told him just kind of try to stay away. Oh, shut up, Steven. Oh my God, that made my night. That made my night. I'm gonna screenshot that shit. Aw, yay. I'm kind of fangirling a little. But yeah, I mean, so I think next week I'm also going to have this gentleman who's in Pittsburgh. He's the head of Pittsburgh Normal. He's a lawyer who specifically deals with cannabis cases, people who are being charged or people who need it medically, anything like that. He's the one who takes care of it, and he's also a really huge activist. So he and his wife will actually be joining me. They're very big in the movement, and I think it would be an amazing show to have them on. So they'll be with me one day next week. And Douche and Isha. I'm not sure if you guys remember her. She is really awesome woman who she's on Twitter. She knows, like, she's like an encyclopedia of wars and the Middle East, and she's just a goddess. If you say one thing, she'll be like, here. And she has videos and articles for literally everything. So yes, exactly, Lance. Yeah, she was great when I had her before. She was awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. I may be back, tomorrow or the weekend for another rant, because sometimes I just get inspired and want to just fuck shit up. So thank you guys so much. Much love. See you soon.